Hello everyone, welcome to FastCloud. As we all know, the world is currently going through the COVID-19 pandemic, and this pandemic is impacting the economy of the entire world. In accordance with this, the International Monetary Fund IMF has predicted that there will be a global recession in the coming years. So in this video, let's take a look at this. So first, let's take a look at the current affair regarding this issue. So on April, the International Monetary Fund IMF had released the World Economic Outlook report. So this is a twice yearly report that is released by the IMF. And in this report and the statistics related to this, the International Monetary Fund had predicted that there will be a global recession due to the economic decline as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. So as we all know, the world is currently undergoing the COVID-19 pandemic due to the coronavirus, and this crisis has an impact on the economy of the entire world, and the subsequent lockdown and the crisis is creating a negative impact on the world's economy. Now let's move on to the details of the World Economic Outlook report and the statements given by the IMF. So the IMF chief predicts that the world economy is headed for a severe recession in the year of 2020, and that the current crisis poses daunting challenges for the policymakers of nations in many emerging markets and developing economies. So we'll abbreviate this as EMDES. So this is a classification of a group of countries, and it is also expected that a large global contraction is predicted in the first half of the year of 2020. It's expected to be inevitable. So what is a contraction? A contraction means a decline in the growth rate of GDP, that is negative GDP growth rate. In a sense, a dip in the GDP growth rate. So it is expected that the GDP growth rate will undergo a negative phase in the first half of the year of 2020. Also, the statement from the IMF states that the coronavirus pandemic has hit the world economy when already it was in a fragile state, as the world economy was weighed down by factors such as trade disputes, policy uncertainty, and geopolitical tensions. Now, the COVID-19 crisis poses particular challenges for policymakers in those countries within the classification of emerging market and developing economies, EMDEs, that is developing countries, because of the reason that they do not have the enough financial power or financial viability for strong public health systems, for strong capacity constraints and other policy measures in order to mitigate the outbreak's repercussions. So this lack of financial viability in order to construct strong public health systems or other constraints and policy measures in order to mitigate the outbreak's repercussions impacts the economy of such countries even more. Also, medium-term projections are uncertain regarding the pandemic's magnitude and speed of propagation, as well as the long-term impact of measures to contain the outbreak, such as travel bans and social distancing. So what this means is that since we cannot predict accurately how long measures such as travel bans or social distancing, how efficiently these measures can be utilized, there is a certain degree of uncertainty regarding the pandemic's magnitude, since these variables cannot be completely estimated or accounted for. Now, as we all know, due to the lockdown imposed by the coronavirus crisis, production facilities and other economic activities have been shut down, and this directly impacts the economy. But along with this, the indirect effects of the COVID-19 crisis also includes lower foreign direct investment, tighter financing conditions, lower tourism, which is a very important point. The tourism industry is going to take a downhill slope for a long time in the coming future. Also, remittance receipts and price pressures for some critical imports such as food and medicines, especially in the case of EMDS, that is emerging markets and developing economy countries. And these are other indirect factors that are disrupting the economy of such EMDE countries, along with the direct impact of the direct shutdown on economy. For instance, even malnutrition figures are expected to rise. For example, let's take the case of the children across 143 countries who normally rely on school meals. For instance, even in India, for example, we have midday meal scheme, and it is estimated that approximately 368.5 million such children exist who are completely reliant on school meals and must now look for other options for their nutrition. So this leads to a rapid increase in malnutrition figures. So this is an example of how the COVID-19 crisis is directly impacting the economy of developing and underdeveloped countries. Now, countries that were affected early in particular, that is, those countries where the COVID-19 pandemic had begun before and had announced lockdown earlier, have suffered larger contractions comparatively in terms of manufacturing activity and services. Also, many commodity prices have fallen sharply, notably for oil. As we all know, recently it was in the news that the crude oil prices have dipped to an all-time low. In fact, it has come to a negative price because of the cost of storage exceeding the cost of production, and hence it has reached negative price. And as we had noted earlier, IMF had strongly predicted and also claimed that it is inevitable that there is going to be a large global contraction, that is a negative GDP growth rate in the first half of 2020. Now, an important point here is that prospects thereafter, that is after the first half of 2020, is highly dependent on the intensity and efficacy of containment efforts, that is how intensely and how efficiently containment, that is the prevention or the reduction in the spread of the disease, is taken care of, and progress with developing vaccines and other therapies, and the extent of supply disruptions, shifts in spending pattern, also the impact of tighter financial conditions on activity and etc. So essentially, prospects after the first half of 2020 is going to be dependent on a number of factors, especially that of how efficiently the spread of the virus is contained. Now, much of the predictions and estimates are based on an assumption, and we'll take a look at this assumption. Now, it is assumed that the global economy would start recovering from the third quarter of 2020, since it is expected that by the third quarter, public health measures are scaled back in almost all the countries. Now, the rebound in the year of 2021 depends critically on the pandemic fading in the second half of 2020. So this is also following from the assumption. It is assumed that the pandemic will fade to a considerable extent in the second half of 2020. That is, in the last 6 months of 2020, it is expected that the pandemic will fade away. Now, allowing containment efforts to be gradually scaled back and restoring consumer and investor confidence. So, based on the assumption that the pandemic fades away considerably in the second half of 2020, it is expected that the containment efforts will gradually be scaled back. That is, the lockdown and other restrictions on the economy will be gradually scaled back, hence restoring consumer and investor confidence. So this is the central assumption that is leading on to the predictions and estimates in the IMF report and statements. Now, while the recovery is expected to pick up in the year of 2021, by the end of 2021, it is still predicted that global output would remain significantly below the pre-crisis trend. So what this means is that the graph or the growth rate of GDP before the COVID-19 crisis had predicted a growth rate which far exceeds the growth which is currently predicted in 2021 after accounting for the crisis. Now let's take a look at statements and predictions from the World Economic Outlook report and the IMF predictions and statements, particularly with respect to India. Now, the IMF has predicted it has slashed the India's growth rate estimate predictions for the financial year of 2021 to a figure of 1.9% after recognition of the COVID-19 pandemic from a previous figure of 5.8% that was estimated back in January before the recognition of the COVID-19 pandemic. So what this essentially means is that the growth rate prediction has dropped from a figure of 5.8% to a figure of 1.9% after accounting for the decline in economy due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, the IMF has also said that India and China would be the only two major economies that are likely to register growth while all other countries are contracting. That is, all other countries are predicted or estimated to only have a decline in their GDP growth rates, while only India and China will be the two major economies that are likely to still register a positive growth rate. Although the growth rates are still less than what was previously predicted, they are still positive growth rates is the point. Also, the IMF had appreciated India's use of new digital technologies to process applications for income support and deliver direct transfers to identified individuals or households. So in order to help or assist in the burden of bearing with the lockdown, the IMF has appreciated India's efforts in order to use digital technologies for delivering direct transfers to identified individuals or households in order to reduce their financial burden. Now let's take a brief look at the table for GDP growth rate estimates that is released by the IMF. Now, for this is given for the years of 2019, 2020 and 2021. Now the world average is expected to, the world GDP growth rate average is expected to decline by 3% for the year of 2020, and this is expected to rebound to a growth rate of 5.8% positively in 2021. Now, for those countries that are classified as advanced economies, the decline is even sharper for the year of 2020 with a expected decline in GDP rates of minus 6.1% and a rebounded percentage of 4.5% growth in 2021. Now for those countries classified as EMDES, that is emerging markets and developing economies, this decline in growth rate is substantially lower at minus 1% of the GDP decline, and this is expected to have a sharper rebound at 6.6% increase in 2021. Now particularly with respect to India and China, India, as we had already mentioned, India and China are the only two nations in this estimates to still have a positive growth rate even in 2020, with India expected to grow at a rate of 1.9% and China at a rate of 1.2%, also having a very strong rebound with 9.2% growth expected out of China in 2021 and 7.4% growth in GDP estimated for India in the years of 2021. Now for those countries that are classified as LIDCs, that is lower income developing countries, they still have a positive improvement in their GDP growth rates, also, although this is very minimal, and it is estimated to be at 0.4% increase in GDP for the year of 2020 with a rebound predicted at 5.6% in 2021. Now taking a brief look at the prediction figures, the International Monetary Fund has particularly warned that this recession due to the COVID-19 crisis could be the worst recession since the Great Depression of the last decade. That is, the Great Financial Crisis of 2008 and 9 is termed as the Great Depression, and it is expected by the IMF that the oncoming global recession due to the coronavirus crisis could have even worse economic consequences than the Great Depression of the last decade. Also, the COVID-19 pandemic is predicted to shrink world output by 3% in 2020. As we had seen in the previous slide, world average is expected to sink by minus 3% in 2020. So this is mentioned in the IMF report, and the growth forecast is marked down by more than 6 percentage point relative to October 2019 World Economic Outlook and January 2020 World Economic Outlook update projection. So what this means is that the growth forecast that was given by the World Economic Outlook that was released in October 2019 and the one released in January 2020, compared to the estimate that was released in these two Outlook reports, the forecast is now, after the recognition of the COVID-19 pandemic, reduced by a margin of 6%. Now finally, let's take a look at the suggestions and economic advices that has been given by the IMF, International Monetary Fund, in order to combat the economic impact of the COVID-19 crisis. Now first and foremost, the International Monetary Fund has stated that the priority should be in reining in, that is controlling the spread of the disease and finding a cure for the disease. Now as far as economic suggestions and economic advices are concerned, IMF has strongly suggested all nations to implement substantial targeted fiscal and monetary policies. Now fiscal policy is responsibility of the union government and monetary policy in our country is responsibility of the Reserve Bank of India. And according to the suggestions given by the IMF, it is suggested to implement substantial targeted fiscal and monetary policies such that they help in reviving the affected households and businesses. Also, IMF has suggested to improve market measures or regulate market measures such that it helps in reviving the economy. Now, other than that, a statement given by the IMF reads that broad-based fiscal stimulus can preempt a steeper decline in confidence. What this means is that a broad-based fiscal stimulus, that is stimulating the economy through fiscal measures, can preempt a steeper decline, that is prevent or reduce the steeper decline in confidence, and also lift aggregate demand. Now aggregate demand falls steeply in an economic crisis, and direct fiscal stimulus can easily help lift the aggregate demand and avert an even deeper downturn. Now, but the important catch here is that this will have even more impact and be more effective once the outbreak fades and people are able to move out freely. So based on now the statement given by the IMF essentially means that the broad-based fiscal stimulus approach in order to lift aggregate demand and hence avert an even deeper downturn and prevent a very steep decline in confidence is more effective once the disease has been curbed to a significant extent and the lockdown or other financial and economical lockdown has been released to an extent that people are now able to move about freely, and then at that point these fiscal measures would have a stronger impact than otherwise. Thank you for watching. I hope you all liked our video. Please leave your feedback in the form of comments and please remember to subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.